In my very early days of junk journaling, I made a bunch of prototypes that I just stuck in a bin and never looked at them again until today when I was looking for some inspiration on what I could make. And I want to show you this folio. I do not know where I got the idea. It might be hither and yon, but I am not sure. So let me show you what this is. So I've opened up the string and we have one side with a beautiful pocket that I put a sheet of paper in. And it just kind of tucks right in there. Then we have another side with a belly band. And I put a journal card in it. Super simple, but very pretty. Then we fold this up and there is journal space. And then we fold this down and there is a pocket with some tags and a journal card. And it's actually a thick journal card that's 2 pieces of cardstock put together. So I want to make something like this today. And the center, of course, is also journal space. So I want to make something like this today. But I am going to use envelopes. Hi everyone, my name is Mary Lou and this is Create Junk Journals with Mary Lou. Well, I think it's lovely that you're all here because I am actually making something that I think is useful and a lot of fun. We all have our envelope stashes. Whenever I am in a thrift store, I'm always checking out the greeting cards and envelopes and all of that, and I always look for these little envelopes. So these envelopes are, just so you know what size we're talking about today, these envelopes are 4 1/4 by 3 1/8 of an inch. So they are just little itty bitty envelopes. And what I want to do is I just have like a piece of construction paper. It's what's right here right now. So I just want to create this as the base, and then I will be able to just dump it into a journal when I am ready with it. So what I'm going to do is first cut this down to size. To start with, I kind of just used my scissors on this, so I need to cut it straight. And if I get 5 inches, I think I would be good. 5 right there. And then I'm just putting it on here and I'm just going to rip it. There. And then I will probably need 6 inches across, or this way, maybe 7 inches. Let's go with 7. I know my journal is 8 by 8, so if I go with 7, that is going to be plenty. There we go. Still crooked, don't care. I just kind of ripped it wrong at the top, but that's okay. So that's just my base. everything is going to be built on here. This is pretty sturdy construction paper, true vintage construction paper, and yeah, it just holds very well. I have 4 of the little envelopes, and I'm kind of just wanting to put them like this. So you fold it up and then you have a pocket, right? But I can also close them in. So I'll probably use some as pockets and some not as pockets. So I want 2 flaps that are going up and down, and this one is going to be at the bottom. And then they have to fit right inside this. So I'm really just laying this down until it fits right inside. There we go. And then I'm taking another one and I'm folding it over top as well. So that is the main base of the construction. It doesn't need to be complicated because it's all going to be about the decoration. You know I love to decorate my stuff. So I can just lay it right here, and then it looks like you've got just a pretty little flippy floppy thing. But then you open it up and you have 1, 2. Oh, I don't want it to move. It's okay, I can still put it into position. Then you move that up and we move that down. See that? So simple. So what I need is another piece of something else that I can stick in the center. And I have, let me just close this back up so I'm not going to lose the shape here. So I'll fold this down or up, this down. Make sure that everything is back to being straight and even. Oh, this one goes first. There we go. And you can just kind of squish it in together until it fits absolutely perfectly. So I have a piece of onion dyed paper. And as I am staring at it, I'm like, I may want to put this under the envelopes as well, because how much more beautiful would that be versus the black? Or I can make it that the black is just a border and this will be a page in the journal. I can do that. Let's do that. So then I would just fold this. I have more. I didn't show anybody that I was doing this. But I made some onion dyed paper, and I think these colors are just so fantastic. Beautiful colors. So I'll grab a second one, and then I can cut the center out of that. And I'm just going to measure this out just like so, because that should fit perfectly inside. I can give you guys, sorry, I have a pen top in my mouth. I can give you the measurements, but the problem with me giving you measurements is, will you have these same size envelopes? right? So this is really a you gotta work with what you got type of thing. So I'm just going to rip these to size. There we go. So each one of the envelopes, I'm going to open it back up again, is going to go behind the flaps. Sorry, let me just specify that. The flaps are going to go behind this. So this goes in the center. And I'm going to glue them all down to here. Whoops, like that. It's much easier now that there is a base to it. Right there. Right there. Right there, and right there. And then let's put this on here. Like so. And then it becomes something super solid. So I'm taking about a little bit extra on here, and I'm just going to now measure. I don't want to always measure everything, but I do want it to be straight. Let's go 4.5. I knew that I had enough space to make it a little smaller. There we go. And 4.5 by 5. So it's not completely straight, so I can actually take a little bit off. Let me just measure this. This is 4.5 by 4.25. So that makes sense. So this doesn't need to be square either, because this isn't square, so this doesn't need to be square. I think I just need a little piece, a little bit off of here. Not a lot, just a little. Trying to be very, very careful. There we go. That's much better. Okay. So let's build this. Now that I have all the pieces together, it should be fairly easy to build. So I'm going to start with the centerpiece. And I'm going to make a decision on what I want to use as my my top. So I have this side or I have this side, and I think I like this side better. I do want to ink around everything. There. And I'm going to put this inside. Like that. And then I can just kind of grunge up the edges here. Just like so. Okay, so this one is ready. And I can take this and I can center it on here. I'm going to take it upside down. And I'm going to put some glue on here. So I use Aleene's tacky glue. That is my absolute favorite glue to use. I dilute it with a little bit of water and then I transfer it into this bottle and it's easier to squeeze. Okay, so I'm just going to lay this on here and kind of maneuver it into position until I am happy. That's one. So that's the most important one, because if you get this one on straight, the other one should follow suit. So I'm just going to ink around this as well. So now this one is going to go on the opposite side of the first one. So now it is a question of making sure that we are straight. There it is. And then I can just put the glue on here. There we go. And just fold this flap over and it should overlap with the other flap. So now we have the top and the bottom completed, and you can see the lines are fully straight. So now we're going to do the left and the right one. I don't want to spend too much time inking or anything, because I don't know if I'm still going to cover it with anything else. So this should now very much line up with the other two pieces. And of course it does not. That's okay. It is okay. It is not the end of the world. I think I know what I did, but it's all good. So I'm just going to put the glue all the way around again. And I'm just closing it up. And then we're going to ink around the last one. These are truly vintage little envelopes. Like the glue is totally discolored. You can actually see the glue through here. They're pretty solid though. There we go. So then this one needs to line up with the other top one. So it's completely lined up. Maybe it's not. Why is it not straight? Just need it to be completely flush. I don't want one crooked piece on it, because if you get one crooked piece, then the rest will be crooked as well. Okay, I'm holding it down, so it should be in place now. It is. It is. There we go. It's so cute. Ta-da! How adorable is that? So now I can take the whole thing and glue this down on here. For this one, I want to ink around it, and I'm going to actually use my picket fence distress ink. Because I want it to stand out. So I'm just using my picket fence and just inking around the edges just to give it a little definition. I very strongly believe that when you are making a junk journal, you need to ink around the edges. You can even take like a marker or something like that to go around the edges, but it needs something to make the pieces stand out individually. Okay, I think I want to use my tag maker and cut the corners off just a little bit. Not fully, just a little bit of squaring them off. Okay. So then I can put this on here. I gotta make sure I put it in the right position. Yes, like that. It needs a closure. And I have some twine that I want to use on it, because it is going into my safari jungles, or my safari journal. That's twice now that I've said safari jungle. That's just so silly. Okay. I'm going to put this down here. I'm taking a piece of tape to hold it down. This is not the right tape to do that, but I'm not sure where my other tape is. So I'm going in the center and I'm just laying this down, taping it, and then I'll put a little bit more glue because in the meantime, of course, that dries. It's all good. And I'm going just a little bit more around the edges. There, and I am also going to put some on this tape so that it holds it down. Okay. Now I have it in place. I can turn this over and squish it down really nicely. Here we go. And then we can take the twine and just tie a bow. In theory, basically, it's done. That's truly all it took, was just putting 4 envelopes on a piece of paper. This is way too plain for what I like. But what am I going to do with this? So I've taken a couple of strips from my painted pages that I made the other day. They're right here. They're the stenciled animal prints. I can use this as a belly band, right? Like I can just stick it in there and we have a beautiful belly band. Or I can put it right here and then we have a pocket right there. Or I can put it over here and that would give us a pocket and a pocket. Different things that I can do with the pieces of paper that I have here. So what I have here is a piece of coffee dyed bed sheet. And I think I want to use this right here as a cute little pocket, and I can put, when it goes over, I don't mind that it looks like there is some shabbiness going on the other side. I kind of like that. So I might actually do that on both sides so that you get the full grungy effect on both sides. So I'm just ripping. Oh, this is really tough to rip. There. And then I'll just pull it until I have the required amount of grunge and fraying. I like it to be kind of frayed. Oh, pull that out. It doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. So I need a second piece, the same size. And so all I'm doing is laying this on top of each other. There we go. Make this fray a little bit. There we go. Pretty cool. So easy. Okay, grabbing my 3-in-1 glue. And I'm putting the glue onto the envelope itself. It's easier than putting it onto the fabric. And then I can lay the fabric right into it. And make sure that you stretch it. So then when you close this up, you get the frayed look on the top and the bottom. Okay, and then I'll do the same on this side. So I'm just using my 3-in-1 glue, gluing this on either side. And I want a little bit of extra fraying on the outside because we'll be able to see that. So I just want it to look just that little bit extra. There we go. So I can lay this down right in here, move it over just a little so that it is on the outside. And I'm just pulling it until it is tight enough to hold something inside. So I can put something in there and it will hold it. I may have to throw it under the sewing machine for a moment just to make sure that everything stays nicely attached. So the next thing I want to do is I'm actually going to create something different for journal space, and I want that to go behind a belly band. So to start with, I want to cut off the strip where I had the paper held down by tape. So I just want to take a little strip off of here. Not a lot, just a little. There we go. And then I can use this as a belly band, but I think it is boring to put it like this. So I think what I want to do, is this big enough? Yes. So I'm taking a piece of construction paper, and just ripping a piece off, and that will be my base. And then I may take two of these pieces, not all of them, two of these pieces. And then just taking the top and the bottom off. And I want to lay this in somewhat of a pattern. I do need to cut it, rip it a little bigger. There we go. One more. There. And then that one. Right. So then I'm going to glue this down in here first. And it is going to be a belly band. So I want to ink around. So my goal with this Safari Jungle is to have it be neutral, but with splashes of really bright colors. And so everything that I'm going to be doing is going to be neutral with splashes of color, kind of like what I am working on right now. So I just need a little bit of glue on the edge, and I'm using quite a bit of glue actually, because I want to make sure that it is well attached. I don't want it to come apart. And we'll just put it down like so. And then I'm going to take my first piece, and this one I am just going to glue straight down. This is not anything special, just gluing it straight down onto the paper. And I do want to ink around it. It does need that. Just because it gives it that extra definition. It just makes it look better. Okay, all the way to the top, but making sure that I can still close the pocket. There. Now the next one, put this down like a pocket. Just like so. Nothing overly complicated. There. And then the next one is also going to be a pocket. Let's ink first. There. And then we have another black one. This one needs to go up a little bit. Just right there. Okay. then we have the final one to go on the bottom. And you can see, like, it's not even. There's nothing even about it. It's not straight. It's not. But how cool does that look? I can make this completely straight, but then you get a very static project, and that's not what I'm looking for. I am looking for a little rough, a little bit more natural, a little bit more like nature. Oops. And there we go. We have a really cute belly band. And then I have, well, I can take another piece of onion dye paper. I'm just going to cut an 8x8 out of here. Or rip an 8x8. There. This time I am going to round the corners. I do always want something to be done with the corners. They don't always have to be pretty and round. They can be rough as well. But in this case, I want them to be pretty and round. So I'm just going to fold this like this. Just fold it in half. And fold it in half again. And then this should fit right underneath. Otherwise, I'll have to cut it down just a little bit more. Yeah. So this is a trial and error kind of project. There we go, but it fits perfectly. So that is the first part. We have a belly band and we have these pieces, and I'm just going to grab my corner rounder again, and I'm just going to round all the corners all at once. There we go. And I'm not inking around this. I just want this to be plain. Just like that. Now I need to create something on here. And I think I want to make another piece. I want to put a journal card inside of here, so you kind of flip it up. And I can do that again with the onion dye paper. So now I'm just measuring against the envelope of how much I want to use. I'm just going to cover my ink so that I'm not swiping anything through there. Okay. Should work fairly easy. You fit this in here. And then it over. There. So all I'm doing is sticking this in here. It shouldn't be too big. There it goes. Didn't want to go in there. So now you can flip this up, flip it down, flip it up, and take it out. Is this going to be big enough? What I want to do, because you can hear me mumbling, what I want to do is I just want to make this so you can open it up and use all of that for journal space. So I need to fold this over. It's tough to figure out how big it needs to be. But I think I got it. I'm just going to try and tuck this in here. There. And then I will know exactly how big this needs to be. So that it'll fit perfectly. And you can flip this up and down. So this is super easy. I am just taking this, taking the glue, and putting glue all the way around the edges, and then all the way across, to make sure that it will seal the envelope very nicely. Okay, I think that is my base done, and I like it. So my phone decided that it was out of storage, and I didn't realize, so I continued recording for a little bit. But let me catch you up on where I'm at. So I really like how this looks, right? We've got the flip up, that flips down, this flips up and then down, and that gives us a ton of journal space. Then we flip this over, and we have a beautiful little folio. Then I also put the string on it, and I added a couple of wooden beads to the bottom because I thought that would look really cute. only thing that we have left to do now is to decorate this. So let's just open this up, and the first thing I want to do is decorate this cover. And what I want is I have this giraffe. Like, isn't he just lovely? And I think he would fit perfectly right there. The only other thing that I could put there would be a lion, but I don't think I like the lion. I think I like the giraffe a lot. Well, I like the lion, just not for this project. And then I have taken some mummy cloth, and I want to put that right there. I want the look of grunge and safari, really. So it can be a little rougher and a little more kind of like that. And then I have this piece, and that can go right there behind it, and then I think that will look really cool. So I think I can glue that down. I think I'm happy with it, because I can put a little bit of decoration over top of that still. So let's just grab the 3-in-1 glue, if I remember where I put it. And to start off, I'm going to put the 3-in-1 right here behind the giraffe. And I'm making sure that everything is well attached. So then I'm just going to put it on the mummy cloth, and that way that is attached. And then I'm putting a little bit more on here. Oh no. And I'm just putting it right on there. Not thinking about it too much, I'm just doing. And I think that is lovely. And I just tore around the image and then inked the edges. I have some labels and numbers. You know I like my labels and numbers for in my journals. And I had a whole lot, and I may have moved it all and put it somewhere else. I want this one to be a little darker. I'm not overly excited with the color. It's just not vintagey enough. So I'm just inking it up really nice. And then I'm just scrunching it up again and doing the same thing. Let's see if it's better now. Oh yeah, that looks like it's been through the wash a few times. Okay, let's do the same thing with this. And let's see where we're at. I think that's good. So this can go together right on top there. And I want a little bit of color in here. After all, I do want something. I am going to make a little cluster of thread, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to make that. I learned this little trick from Louisa Heinzel, surprise. And I think I have the right material to do it. So I'm going to grab a bunch of thread, different kinds of thread. This is embroidery thread, and I'm just pulling it apart. there, and it's nice and purple. Then I have some pink sewing thread. I want different thicknesses of thread as well. I have some white. This is definitely a different thickness. I don't know where this comes from. That's a pretty heavy thread. It is mine. I just don't know why I would have been sewing with such a thick thread. And then I have the green. So that gives me a little bit of color. Okay, so what I have here is water-soluble embroidery stabilizer. So you usually use this behind your embroidery, and it makes it so that you can easily sew on your, like, you can easily sew the embroidery on, and then you can wash this away and you won't see that you've had something behind it to hold it all down. But so what she did was she took 2 pieces, and I will try and find the video again, because I think it is absolutely fantastic, and the way, and she explains it way better than I do. So then I take all my thread and I just kind of put it together like a little cluster, and I don't need anything big, right, because it's just going behind the little, behind here. I want it to be kind of like that, and I think that's cool. But I don't want to do that with a lot of glue. I just want to have like a little bit of glue, and it will hold it down. So if I put it in here, right, come on, everything in there. I'm just making it happen there. Then I put the other one over top, like so. And then I grab a pin, just a plain pin, and I'm just going to pin it together so that I can put it through the sewing machine. Just like that. So I'm just going to sew it, and then I'll be back. Once I'm done with this project, I'll make a whole bunch of these so I don't have to do it over and over again. But here it is. I just sewed around it. And now I'm going to drop it in this glass of water. And I'm just going to let this dissolve. There we go. And then, how easy was that, right? And now I'm just going to dry it. It is dry, and I have myself a lovely little cluster. So let's grab this all again. I can put this right here. And then I have the little tickets on top, like that. And I think that is super cute. Let's just see if I can make it a little bit less staticky. Let's go this way so that the threads are going up a little bit. And then if I put this on top of here, I like it. So I can just put a little bit of 3-in-1 glue right here. Stick this in there. And it's much easier to have it all sewn together than to have to hold it and try and get it in the right spot. And, you know, we've all struggled with those things. And doing this is, oh my goodness, it is perfect. Stick this on there. Stick this on there. Like that. I think I want to see if I have maybe a postage stamp or something like that that can still go with that. Because I have purple in there, I decided that I would go with a purple stamp as well. So I'm just inking around it, even though it doesn't need it. This is like a real vintage postage stamp from Belgium, but I still want to kind of make it a little grungier, and then I can stick it right there, I think, right there. Okay, 3-in-1 glue again. And how do I know that these stamps are vintage? Well, that's really easy because I collected these, or this was extras that didn't go into my stamp collection that I did with my dad. So I know when they were done. There, that is the front. Now, I don't want to put different animals in here over and over again, because then I think it would be too overpowering. But look at this. I have giraffe dots that I can fit perfectly right here, and how lovely would that look? I'm just going to ink around this. My glue. So if you're inspired by the safari images that I'm using, I am going to put it together at the end of this whole project, and so you can make the same thing. So I'll have that uploaded to my Ko-fi shop by the time this video will be released, so that you can use it as well. Oh, I like this. I like that a lot. Okay, so I need something for right here. And I don't want the animals. And I have, like, all I have is the 2 prints. Do I have anything else? I know that there's other images as well. So I have this. I have a lion. And my printer didn't print perfect, but this is a beautiful image. Then I have elephants. These are all going to be pages inside my journal. Then I have this. And I might have another smaller piece of this because I really like this. The different animal prints. This is a large image of the giraffe print. Then we have some elephants. I like this one too. Like, how beautiful is that? They're all just the perfect colors. And then they go very well with the bright colors for the images that I have painted. So I will stencil over these and I'll do different things to them, but this is the base for my journal. This is actually a misprint that my printer did, and because it was running low on ink, so I had to replace the ink, and in the meantime it didn't want to do what I wanted it to do. So I can just rip this. I don't have a printer. Oh, whoops. My printer doesn't print borderless, which is sometimes very annoying. Most of the time I don't really care. I just lose a little bit of the pages and that's fine. So now what I want to do is kind of see what I want to use of this print. So again, I'm just looking at it, eyeballing it, and putting some lines on it. And then I'm just going to put my ruler on here. Make sure that the ruler is straight. There. And then I'm putting the ruler on here again. And I have one piece. And then I can probably rip this one again. And then I have two pieces. I know that they're going to be the same size, so I may as well cut two pieces at once. And then they can go right here. And then it stays within the color, with the colors as well. How lovely is that? Very simple, but still very pretty. What do I need? I need ink. Some glue on there. And we'll stick it down. Just like so. Close this over top. Where's my other piece? It's right here. I love it. Like the colors are very much the same colors as that I have used in my paintings. Okay, glue. And we'll stick this right here. There we go. I want to put a little strip of each right in the center here because I think it will just pull everything together. Right? Let's take a look. Where's my ruler? One. And that's two. Ink again. Okay. This can maybe go right. Like, look how cute that would be to do that. I'm not going to because I don't want to overpower this too much. Three in one. And that one can go right there. Much better. Much, much better. So this has room for some journal cards. And I'll put those in there. I think this is absolutely lovely. You know what? I can take, one of the animals. I could put on the inside of this. Which one do I want to use? Maybe the maybe this one. Let's just rip around it just a little bit more so that it's less white. There. Okay, put some glue on here. And we'll just stick it right there. And I don't want to put anything else on there because I want it to stay somewhat flat. So, perfect. And put this right back in here. Close this up, close this up. Oh, no, wrong way around. Close. This goes up, this one goes down, then this one, then this one. And then we tie it together. So I love this project. I think she's absolutely lovely. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button because there is more coming for this safari jungle, and I think it is starting to come together really cutely with between all the colors and then the grungy pieces, and it's just going to be a pretty interesting journal. Don't forget to check out my Ko-fi shop for the safari kit that will be on my channel when you are watching this video. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again tomorrow with another safari project. Bye!